Dreamweaver has already given us one div to start working with. In fact, if I look at the code, we can see the div. Yeah, div layout 1. There's also a grid container div. This is much like the main wrapper that we created earlier. Well, from the code, I am very carefully going to highlight everything that deals with this division, that is layout div 1. I am not taking out anything that deals with the grid container div. I can see the beginning of that div and the end of that div. So be very careful what you highlight. Once I highlight all that, I'm going to press the delete key, take it out, click back on design. Now I'm going to go to common. Actually, I don't think it's under common. Let's try layout. Okay, under layout, I have this thing that says insert fluid grid layout div tag. I'm going to click on it and I'm going to call this header. The box is checked that says start new row. I'm going to say OK. And my header div tag is in there. In fact, I can come back and look at the source code, and this is good because that header div is inside the grid container div. That's exactly what I want. Okay, I've got to start. I'm going to create another div. This is going to create a brand new row, and I'm going to call this sidebar. Starting to sound familiar, isn't it? Well, if we have a sidebar, we probably need something called main content. Except this time I'm going to uncheck the box that says start new row. And notice how this is kind of moved over a little bit. These two are flush with the left-hand margin. Now this is indented a little bit. Another fluid grid. This time I'm going to call this photos. And I'm going to click the unclick the start new row. And once again, this is also indented. Let's do one more. I'm going to call this footer. And this is going to be a new row. Okay, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 divs that I can see. I also know that we have that container that's not showing up here. These two, the layout for main content and photos, are slightly indented, and that's exactly what we want.